If you've been using Claude, Codex, Coworkers, Cursor, Windsurf, doesn't matter, you know that these AI tools get significantly better when you connect them to external resources. I'm talking about Figma, Salesforce, HubSpot, Gmail, Google Drive, the things that you actually use on a day-to-day basis. Now, fortunately, pretty much all of these tools now have native integrations for AI agents. However, they can be a little bit tricky to connect on your own, and that's what I want to show you how to do in this video. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to connect pretty much any application, product, software, tool that you use directly to your favorite AI agent. It's going to be completely free, and it's also going to give you a significantly better tool accuracy and discovery, which we'll talk about later, based on the method that we're going to use. Now, I'm going to show you how you can connect literally up to 1,000 different applications through just one MCP or one connector. So Instagram, SERP, YouTube, Slack, Reddit, Monday. I'm just going through a few examples that they have here. But the tool that we're going to use to do this is something called Composio. Now, Composio allows us to connect all of these different tools and multiple different accounts through one connector. So rather than me going to Claude and manually searching for the connectors and hoping that they're just built in or adding 1,000 different MCP servers, you do it all through a really simple web dashboard with Composio. Then you just take one individual connector, add it to Claude, Codex, whatever tool you want, OpenClaw. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And then you can access all of your favorite tools. Now, this converts your AI agent from a chatbot to something that can actually take action and call multiple different tools to send an email, read your ad spend, go send a message in Slack, look at your HubSpot messages, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can do all of it when you have the right connector. So with that said, let's get into it and let me show you exactly how to do this. So I promise that I'm going to show you how to set this up, but I want you to understand the difference between what we're about to do and just natively adding a connector inside of something like Claude, ChatGPT, whatever, Gemini, doesn't matter. Now, you'll notice that if you go into Claude, right, you'll probably have seen that you have this long list of connectors, which are kind of officially approved by Anthropic. Now, if you're just adding one or two of them, it's not a problem to do it directly from Claude, but a few things will start happening. First, you can only connect to one account at a time. So if you have 5 different Gmail accounts or 5 different Google Drives like I do, you're kind of just out of luck. You only get to pick one, at least how it's currently configured. The second and most major issue is something called context bloat. I'm going to show you what I mean. I just created a quick kind of like dashboard here to explain it to you. But by default, when you just use all of these connectors built in, you're going to have this long list of tools here. And I'll just make it kind of larger so you can get the idea. And all of these tools are going to be passed to your LLM in its kind of systems prompt so it understands what tools are available to it. If you just have 2 or 3 tools, that's not a problem. But if you have 10 connectors and those all have 50 available tools, that's 500 different tools that are going to be passed to your LLM on every single prompt. Now, that's going to make it much more expensive because you're just going to have a lot more tokens. But more importantly, it's going to reduce the accuracy in the tool calling. So again, we just put a slider here, and you can see that when we go up and we have a ton of different tools, the accuracy decreases, the context increases, and overall you're spending more for a worse performing model. And this is a very well documented problem with LLMs. When you give them thousands of different tools that they can choose from, they really don't perform well. Now, to compare that to what we're going to use, which is Composio, who's kindly sponsored this video, but keep in mind they are free. You don't need to pay for them, and I've used them much before the sponsor, hence why I'm making this. Composio uses something called on-demand tool discovery. That means that we only expose 1, 2, maybe 3 tools to Claude. These tools allow Claude to search for tools inside of Composio. So rather than having access to 500 different tools, Claude or any AI agent sees one tool. It uses that tool to then find the correct tool using something called semantic search. Then that tool gets sent or triggered directly from Composio. And this way, we're not bloating the context every single time, and we get significantly more accurate tool discovery and tool calling. So here's kind of the quick flow on how this works, right? So let's say we say send a recap email to the team about today's stand-up. What's going to happen is that a user request arrives, the agent calls the one tool, right, which is search tools, which is exposed to it, not hundreds, just one. Composio then uses its internal system to return the matching tools, which is a significantly smaller, more targeted list that gives us, again, better tool accuracy. The agent then calls the correct tool and then gets the result, right? And then you can see that we get the response. Now, Composio will also trim the result from the tool call, which can, again, bloat the context and make the prompt get larger and larger to, again, save us money. And the advantage here is that because we're going to set up all of our connections inside of Composio, it handles the authentication authentication for us, and we can easily switch between any model or any tool that we want. So we can go between Codex, Claude, Gemini, doesn't matter, and we don't need to reconnect all of these tools in the individual platform. We just point them to Composio, which already has all of our configuration done. So with that said, I want to show you exactly how to set this up. Again, I've been using this for months inside of all of my different tools, and it really makes your AI agents have a lot more capabilities. Okay, so effectively what we're going to do here is just go to the Composio website. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Just go ahead and sign in. And by the way, if you're looking for the different tools to see if they're available, you can just check. They have something on their website. Again, free to search through. And from there, you're just going to sign in or create a new account. And what I'm going to do is just press on Use Composio once I go through this new account flow. And I'm going to select, okay, just skip that for now, and we can start connecting various different providers. So in my case, I'll just connect like 3 or 4 for the purposes of this video, but you probably want to go through and just connect all of the ones that are going to be useful to you. Typically, I have like 30 or 40 different connectors that I'm using, and then I'll show you how we add this inside of our AI tool. Okay, so I'm going to go with Gmail to start, so let's go connect. And you'll see that what this is going to do is run me through kind of like an OAuth flow where I can connect to my Gmail account, and then all of the session tokens and whatnot will be handled by Composio rather than Claude, where it will automatically refresh it, so you won't get any of that authentication downtime or like you have to reconnect, which happens a lot if you use the native connectors. All right, so once you go through this kind of initial setup flow, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this, where if you want to connect or manage additional applications, you can just go to Connect Apps, and you can see pretty much everything here. Now, of course, the tools you use are ultimately up to you because it's whatever you use on a daily basis or for your business. But if you go through a few, Twitter, HubSpot, Reddit, Asana, that's what I'm going to connect, LinkedIn, DocuSign, you get the idea. And there's a bunch of stuff here. Scroll through, find what's useful, spend the time to set it up. It's literally just signing into your account. And then if you want, you can manage the tools more in depth. So if I go to Gmail, for example, you can see I'm connected to an account. It will show you a list of all of the different tools that are available here. And what I like is that I can connect multiple accounts to this. So if I want to connect multiple email accounts, I can do that from here, and I can have multiple active at the exact same time. I can also name the connection so I know which is which. Okay, so you guys get the idea. Now, what we need to do is install this inside of our tool. You can see that there is some setup instructions for OpenClaw, Cowork, Claude Code, Codex, ChatGPT, etc. So for now, I'm going to connect this to Claude Cowork, but you can see there's a lot of different options here, and you can just directly connect an MCP as well. So what I'm going to do is press on Claude Cowork, and it says that all I need to do here is just add a custom connector under the connectors for Cowork, which is this URL right here. So let me do that. The way that I can do this, let's say we're inside of Claude, right, is we can go to chat, we can go to Cowork, doesn't matter. If we go here to our name and we go to settings, we can find the connectors. So from here, we're just going to go to add custom connector. We're just going to give this a name. I'm just going to call it Composio. Composio, spell it correctly, and I'm going to paste the Composio URL and then just press add. Now, when I press add, what we're going to need to do is press on connect here. When we press on connect, it's going to bring us to our browser where we're going to be able to authenticate Composio directly. So if we're already signed in and we're on the same computer, we can just go ahead and press on authorize, and that's literally all we need to do. So you can see that it says we're connected. So let's go to Open Claude. Now we are connected. And if I want, I can go into Configure, and we can see that there's a few different tools that are exposed, that these are the only tools that we need to manage all of the different tools that are available directly from Composio. So see, manage connections, multi-execute tool, remote bash tool, remote workbench, wait for connections, search tool, and then get tool schemas. That's literally all we need. And if we want, we can just always allow them. So I'm going to go for read only, always allow, but for write and delete, we'll go needs approval. That way it can search the tools, but it can't execute them unless we give it the ability to. And then directly from Cowork, or even just from the chat, because it should work in both, we can start using this. So in my case, I connected to my email. So let's just do the following. Give me a summary of the last 3 emails in my inbox. Just give me high-level points and anything that I need to know. Now, previously, this wouldn't work because I wasn't connected to any of these tools, but now it should start by going to Composio, searching for the available tools, getting the different tools, executing them, and then giving me the result. Okay, so I just changed the prompt slightly because you kind of need to teach it that it needs to use Composio, because by default, it's not like a descriptive name of the tool. But I said, using Composio, go to my email, find the latest 3 emails, and notice that its search for the tools is now doing a multi-execute, and you can see that it has Gmail fetch emails, right? And that's what it wants to execute. So I'm gonna go allow for this task, and then hopefully we get the response. Okay, and there we go, we get the response. Now we're getting these Google security alerts because I was signing in with Composio. That's normal, you're always gonna get those. And then some sponsorship things, someone wants to sponsor video, you get the idea. Anyways, that's what I got directly from my email now because I've added the connectors. Now the cool thing is that because we have multiple different tools, we can stack them together. So for example, I could say something like, okay, now I want you to write a Google document that contains the summary and then save it to my Google Drive and send me the Google Drive link. Again, use Composio for all of the tool calls. Okay, and then assuming that it's connected to all of the appropriate tools, it should be able to do this and then give me the response. Now this is kind of cool. Notice that it actually searched through the tools, notice that it needed Google Docs, but that I wasn't already connected to Google Docs, and then it just gives me a link here that I can press that will allow me to connect Google Docs. So not only is it able to actually use the existing connections, but if it determines that you need a new connection, it will prompt you directly inside of the AI tool to connect that, which we can do, and then it can proceed to actually use that tool. So let me connect it and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, and there we go. It looks like it completed this. And if I open it up, we can see that we have the email summary directly inside of my Google Drive, and it wrote everything in there. Now again, there's a lot of other tools we can connect to, but that's kind of just a quick usage or demo. And of course, you guys are gonna get more use if you connect your own tools to this, but this is how you connect pretty much anything to any AI agent. And now, again, the benefit is I can just connect Composio to any other AI tool that I'm using, and I have all of the same connections already set up there without me needing to reconfigure it all. Now, if you go back to Composio, you can see all of the tools you've used, streaks, whatever, all of this kind of stuff, and you can see the log right here of when all of the tools were called. Now, just keep in mind that for Composio, you get 20,000 tool calls per month free. I've personally never even gotten close to that limit. However, if you are using this for like OpenClaw and you're doing it, massive amounts of tool calls, then of course you can upgrade to this one, $29 per month for 200,000 tool calls, or this one, which is 2 million tool calls per month, and you can pay, I think, more after that, or again, enterprise plan or something. But again, I've never needed to pay for it, and I use it in multiple different accounts. So really, I think with that said, that's all I wanted to show you in this video. This is something I use all of the time. It's extremely useful. It just adds all of the powers of capabilities to your AI agents. I would definitely recommend setting it up and adding it to pretty much anywhere you use an AI agent and just being selective of the different tools that you want. You also can set up multiple organizations. So if you want to create a new org and you want to separate tools based on where you're using them, you absolutely can do that. And there's a lot of other cool config, and they even have like some, build and manage AI agents, which I haven't dug into yet with the Composio SDK. So anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.